Hello, my loves. I hope that you guys have all seen the giveaway post. If you haven't, go check it out and then come back to me. But please don't forget to come back to me. I'll put the link in there below. So make sure you enter the giveaway because I'd love like somebody who watches full format to win the giveaway. I'm rooting for you. I know your faces. There are several of you who comment again and again. I know you, okay? So just know. I'm rooting for you, okay? Make sure you're doing following on Instagram so that I can DM the winner. I have to DM the winner. Last time I did a giveaway on YouTube, tracking down and trying to contact the winners was so difficult. And then like some people didn't get back to me. So then the book had to get bumped to the next person. So I'm not doing that all this time. So you guys just help me out by following on Instagram. Do all the rules for the giveaway, please. Please enter it. You're going to win a full-size Pat Mcgrath palette, which is what we're using today to create this look. We're also going to be talking about Hellfire and Brimstone, a little bit of program talk, a little bit of my upbringing talk, a couple childhood stories from missionaries who stayed in my house, who we locked out on the back patio as little kids. I've always been savage. I just didn't always know it, you know? So yeah, if you want to see how we got this look, just keep watching. I love you guys so much. And yeah, just stay tuned. Hello, everyone. I'm going to start by putting on some eye masks. So yesterday I had the most epic fail. I came to this area of my bedroom. I set up all my lights. I set up my camera. I did a sound check to make sure the sound was working. And it was. And then I finished my video. I loved the look. I did some story times. And yet, when I went to upload my footage to my computer to begin to edit it to go live for Saturday, which I think I still have enough time, but I'm not sure. It's Friday. I realized that the sound cut off after 2 minutes. So literally there was no sound. There was no regaining the footage. So I'm going to do the exact same look that I did yesterday today. And also, it's a very special look because I'm going to use the Bronze Seduction Pat Mcgrath palette that I'm giving away. Today is Friday, and I posted about the giveaway. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it. And go ahead and add yourself, especially if you watch my full videos and you're a regular here. Make sure you add yourself because I really want this giveaway to go to one of you very loyal watchers, okay? Because you deserve it. So just letting you know about that. And we're going to do like a red look, like the devil. And maybe we should talk about Hellfire and Brimstone. I don't know. I could talk about that for forever. So maybe we should talk about that because yesterday I tried to start on a storytime topic and I finished in like 5 minutes and the video was 30 minutes long. So let's talk about that. Maybe we could talk about like the kind of churches that I went to growing up and of course the kind of churches that we went to in School for Troubled Girls. I'm trying to revitalize myself. I'm recovering from the flu. I got it at Coachella. If you've ever seen like a Coachella event or party or like, I didn't go to Coachella, I went to a party that's kind of like a sub party of Coachella at night. Man, it is not what you think it is. You might think it's going to be so much fun. It wasn't for me. Maybe it is like, if you're a party girl, okay, if you're a party girl, you'd have fun. I'm not a party girl. I didn't have fun. My brain is balanced. Thanks to my medication. So I don't party anymore because I don't need to. And that was, being up at night, I hate it. We had to stay in a Motel 6 because everything was booked because of Coachella. Like the Motel 6 costed $350. $350 for a Motel 6. ugh. I'm glad that I went so that I know that I don't want to go back, you know? And then apparently there was this influencer. Also, let's just start our look. We're going to start with eyes today. Apparently there's this influencer who left Coachella early and people were so mad. She's like this really pretty girl, Kensington or something. And she talked about on TikTok about how she left early and people were so mad. They were like, how could you be so ungrateful and wasteful? And I was just thinking, no. First of all, she was invited. So she didn't pay for her own ticket. Poosh, Kourtney Kardashian's brand paid for it, and they can afford it. Shut up. Coachella is not this amazing experience that people think it is. You have to walk in the dust for a long time. You have to stay up late. You have to buy overpriced food and water. I'd rather go back to Wisconsin and go to Summerfest. It costs like $30 to get in. And you can leave whenever you freaking want. Coachella is really hard to leave. I had the hardest time leaving. It was a neon carnival, and my boyfriend had to get me like the most expensive car because all the other cars, they're not coming to that shitstorm because it's just too much work for them. So yeah, I don't recommend. So should we talk about Hellfire and Brimstone? Do you guys know like what I'm referencing? I think we should talk about it. I think that's what I want to talk about today because yesterday I was trying to do like School for Troubled Girls talk and I was like, this is like, I don't even care right now about it. I mean, like I care about it, but like I can't care about it all the time, you know? So let's start our look and let's start talking about the kind of churches and the kind of teachings we had growing up. So I'm going to go in with this shade first. So my parents belong to Assemblies of God churches, and there are kind of like, it's kind of like Hillsong vibes, but Hillsong is a little bit cooler than the places that we frequented. But Assemblies of God can be really extreme, and they can be like Assemblies of God Pentecostal, Assemblies of God. There's like different segments. So the churches that we went to were always pretty radical. Like when I was a little girl, we would be in churches where people would speak in tongues and like be slain in the spirit. So much so that allegedly my oldest sister spoke in tongues when she was 2. And I say allegedly because I think she's just copying the adults around her. And we also did that in the School for Troubled Girls, which is highly embarrassing. But I think it's just like, I don't want to offend anybody, but like I'm not into the Bible or spiritual stuff, but I could, if I damn well pleased and wanted to, I could show you up right now. I could just start, you know, like I know how to do it. And it's not real to me. It's just, to me, it's just silliness. So we always went to churches like that growing up. And my little sister, or not my little sister, but my oldest sister, she would like pray to God. And she would pray very fervently. But you know what I think? I think she was praying to God because God was her only hope. Because my dad was angry growing up. He was very mean, especially to her. My oldest sister really got the worst of it all, as many older siblings do. The middle children, they do suffer. I'm a middle kid, but not as much as the oldest ones. Like my 2 oldest sisters always had crazy stories that put my stories about my parents like to shame. Like they could always one up me. And not that that's what it's about, but they just, when you're the oldest child, you see more. And a lot of oldest children in messed up homes, they get the brunt of it, you know, like the worst of it. So I think she was praying so intensely because she needed God to freaking deliver her and to provide her some safety. She was picked on a lot, and she really struggles like with the memories of her childhood. Like she won't even like, I don't know if I don't want to share her story too much because I didn't ask. I'm sure she wouldn't mind. She's really nice. If you ever see her on YouTube and get a glimpse of her personality, she lives in Vegas. That's why she's never in the videos, but she's really nice. She's so supportive and kind and happy. But I don't want to share too much of her story still because it's not my story to tell. But she was picked on like by my dad's mom. My dad's mom was cruel, which explains a lot in the way that like he tried to raise us, because she was cruel when he was younger. She played favorites between him and his twin brother, and he wasn't the favorite. And then she picked on my sister too. Like, what kind of grandma? She has since passed, but what kind of grandma picks on a little girl? And my sister was cute too when she was little. I'll see if I can put a little picture here. She looked like a little blonde monkey. She was so cute. So yeah, I think she was praying so seriously and speaking in tongues because she needed God to fucking help her. And it's so funny too, because when I was in Alabama and I turned towards the religion because it was all I had, it was because I needed fucking deliverance. I was in Alabama. Like, I needed God to save me, and he didn't. It's so funny because when you're young, I think you're more likely to believe that God could save you. Whereas when you're an adult and you have a little bit more autonomy and more power over yourself, you realize that you can save yourself and you can count on yourself. And I still feel that way, and I love my independence. I love my independence more than I love anything. So yeah, so we went to this kind of churches, and then when I was in Alabama, we went to this kind of churches as well. And we never really got an escape because we would go to those type of church services 3 times a week, and then we'd also do home church once a week on Fridays. And the home church services were when things really got loose because they really wanted us to believe in what they were saying. So they made it like really crazy. And they were always talking about hellfire and brimstone. Like, that was a threat my whole entire life until I was like completely alienated from like any kind of church activity. Was like, if you don't repent, you will go to hell and burn forever. And as a little kid, I knew that, and so I would get saved every night before bed. I did that probably until I was 19 or 20, get saved every night. Because when you tell kids this, it's a reality. And your brain doesn't fully develop until you're in your mid-20s. So it also kind of explains why sometimes like young 20s people get involved in this, because their brain's not developed. And then if you get involved beforehand, like, I don't know, good luck getting out, because it's very cultish, and that threat is very real that if you leave, you're burning. And I can't think of anything worse than to burn for all of eternity. I can't think of anything worse. I should lead a congregation, but like in the opposite direction. Like, you're not gonna burn in hell for all eternity. Nothing's gonna happen to you. So yeah, every church I've ever been was like stomping around and stuff. And then they also, so Steve Hill, does anybody know him? I've talked about this a little bit more like sneakily because I didn't want to see his daughter to see it. But Steve Hill's daughter, now we're going to go in with that red shade. She went to the program, the School for Troubled Girls, with me, and she also ended up getting sucked into working there. And then she got kicked out because she was like partying while she was a staff. And you were not allowed to do that. Like typical church kid behavior. She was pretty naughty. And she was raised in the church, and she was adopted by Steve Hill and his family. And so he actually came to do a bunch of services for us, and his services were the same, always about hell, and then always screaming, fire, and like, boop, like knocking us down and stuff. And so I don't know, I really believed for way too long that hell was very real. And then, you know what's the worst part about it too, is that because my family believes in this doctrine, when my sister passed away, this is what I'll talk about. When my sister passed, not my mom was pissed, but my dad's friend or somebody, this pastor that my dad knew, came to do her funeral, because if you have a funeral, you kind of need somebody to like do the funeral. Like, I guess, like, I can't even remember who else went up. I think I went up, and I don't know. I guess we all went up at one point. I don't even remember that part of it. But the part that I do remember is that he kind of like outed her as like the way that she passed away, which I don't talk about. And you guys ask me a lot, and I'm not telling you, but I love you, but I'm not telling you. It's just too much. Maybe one day I'll write it in a book and explain, but I can't even say what happened online. You guys would be so triggered. And also I don't want to, and I don't feel like anybody needs to know if they don't know organically, if they're not involved in my family and whatever. So he kind of like outed her, and he kind of said something that made it seem like she wasn't going to go to heaven. And obviously we were all pissed. I was pissed. My mom was pissed. My dad wasn't pissed because my dad hired him. But yeah, we were all pissed. Because even like at her own freaking funeral, they had to bring that weirdness into it. Like this weird belief system has always kind of been in the background of my life. And it makes me angry. It makes me want to scream. And also, like, I just can't believe that, like, I was learning these things as a kid. And I know that you guys say that you can relate to that, because somebody in the comments recently, holler if it's you, you said you learned about going to hell and about, like, Jesus dying on the cross and stuff at, like, age 7, like, Judgment Journey style thing. And you couldn't believe that was taught to you at 7, and I also can't believe that was taught to you at 7, and I also can't believe that it was taught to me at 7, and I also can't believe that it was at Hannah's funeral, and it was just freaking crazy. So we were just always kind of brought up with this hellfire and brimstone kind of attitude. The only people who don't really believe it, which I really love, like my grandma, she is a Christian lady. Always has been, and she's older. We don't fuck with grandma. We believe in what grandma says. So, like, whatever she says is cool. Yes, grandma, you know. My grandma is awesome. But she always says, once saved, always saved. Hannah's in heaven. And I love it when she says that, because Hannah is in heaven. And also, like, I don't know about the saved. I don't know about all that, but yes, she is in heaven, and I will be in heaven too. I love this glitter for over top of that green. And yeah, to be honest, I'm a little scattered again, because I had the stomach. I got like freaking norovirus or something from that Coachella party, and that's probably why I also don't have fond memories of it. Let's just say I couldn't keep any food down for 3 days. And the worst part about it too is that, like, I'm swollen. Like, you think you can't keep food down for 3 days, maybe you'd be looking like kind of fine. I'm not looking good. I'm feeling so puffy, and for some reason, I need to drink some water. For some reason, I have an aversion to like food and beverage. I need to get up and drink water right now that I mentioned that. I barely had any water. I had a piece of toast. Gross. I should put this coffee away. I'm going to get a beverage. I'm going to swap this out for like a kombucha, because this is just bad news. Not even kombucha, just water. I'm healed. So that was another thing too. They always believed in like healing and everything too. So like when I was at the school for troubled girls, and they were saying that I was like gay because of my mom, which, first of all, people don't your sexuality doesn't depend on your parents, but they would always say that because my mom was so bad that I was a lesbian or whatever, which I wasn't even a lesbian. I was just like, just go both ways. So they were always saying that, and then they were always praying for my healing, and my dumbass, was praying for my healing too, because I thought it was real, because my brain wasn't developed and I didn't know, and this was all that I ever knew. And because I was away from all my friends, because I'm sorry, but if you told me that in Wisconsin amongst my friends, I'd be like, nope, because I do what my friends do. I believe what my friends believe. You know, at 15, as a teenager, groupthink was very real. I was my friends. We are not religious. But then I was amongst another group who was religious, so I was like, okay, I guess I need to be delivered. So that was a subject of lots of prayer meetings. The frickin' directors, the woman, especially Carla and Bob, would be praying for my deliverance from my gayness. Sometimes things just need to be left alone. And also, like, that's not a problem that they should have been focusing on. Like, why are they focusing on my sexuality? I was barely of age. Was I of age even when we had those conversations? I don't think so. I wasn't even of age. Why are they worrying about who I'm attracted to? It was so weird. And then again, just that theme of burning in hell. So like every second that I was with my girlfriend in the beginning of our relationship, I was like, I'm dying and going to hell. I'm dying. Every like big life event, like when I lost my card, it was before I got sent away, which was too early, by the way, but it just was what it was. I had older sisters, so I wanted to do everything early. So even when that happened, and it's supposed to be kind of just like a neutral point of life or whatever, oh my God, that night after I like lost my you-know-what, I was like, I will never be let into the pearly gates. I will always be in hell. I always had these like extremely vivid visions of like me sinking down into the depths of hell, especially like because before the program too, I was like experimenting a bit. I was no angel, but also I was a product of a really bad home environment, so like I wasn't a good kid. But did I deserve to be absolutely punished so severely for like what was kind of like the grown-ups? Like, the grown-ups kind of screwed me over, and then they hung me out to dry, you know, when I wasn't, like, a cookie-cutter great kid. But, like, when I was, like, experimenting with things, too, because I had always been told that, like, if I was bad, I would go to Hell. Then one day I was high, and I felt as if I was sinking into the ground, into the depths of hell. So those were very real fears of mine, and the greatest freedom I've ever had in life is not having any affiliation with any type of religion and not having anybody telling me that like I'm gonna die and be tortured forever for like very minor things. I just like don't think that kids should be taught that. Like even if you're like Christian and that's what you believe, I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with like telling children things that are like adult only type of subjects. Like if you believe that, that's fine because you're an adult and you can decide to believe that. But don't bring the little kids into it. Fucking weirdo. And, like, why are you bringing the kids into it? Because you're afraid. Because you're afraid now that your baby's going to go to hell. Like, that doesn't sound like a good religion to me. That doesn't sound like fun, but whatever. And I know you guys, some of you guys are Christians, and I love you guys. Don't get me wrong. Just don't tell your kids that. I love this Purely's BB cream. Even though this brand wanted to share my post onto a platform where they would be paid for it and didn't want to give me a cut, I still love and adore them. They were like, can we post that to Flip? And I was like, Yeah, but you have to like pay a fee because you're going to make money off it. It's going to sell the product. And they were like, we can't pay your fee. And I was like, well, you can't make money off my back. Sorry, I have enough people making money off my back. You ever see me in an ad? My friends have been sending ads to me that I'm in that I was not paid for. Not gonna name names, but I'm sick of seeing my own face on ads. Some platforms use this specific loophole to steal my stuff and profit off of it and leave me in the dust and not even give me a credit. So I'm not about that life anymore. Also, I got little baby bangs. They're just kind of up. And, well, they're not really bangs. They're kind of bangs. I'll take them down in a little. I can't help but think that yesterday's glam was a little bit better. But maybe it's because we don't have on any concealer and haven't cleaned up the edges. Dude, I do love this Purlisse. I can't even hate on them even though they don't want to pay me a fee and when they want to make money off me. They're still making money off me because I still tell everybody I love it. Like, I was teaching a makeup class with these 6 ladies this week. It was so fun. If you're in California and you want to book me for a makeup class, I would love to do it. I had so much fun. But one girl, she said she hates foundation, so I gave her some. It was like bring your own makeup so they can really learn, but some people didn't have foundation. So, of course, like I brought all my stuff and they were free to like use it and see if they like it. So I gave her the Purlisse and everybody in the room was like, you have to buy that. And so she bought it. Because just the finish of it, it's beautiful. Like whenever somebody, I have all those shades in my kit, by the way. Whenever somebody says that they don't like the look of cakey skin or like lots of makeup on the skin, I always put that on them and they always love it. You know, as a makeup artist, you have to like cater to everybody, and that is a product that truly works for everyone. I think we should do like a little Dibs beauty contour stick. This is also a favorite of mine. Hellfire and brimstone. Hellfire and brimstone. Trying to think of any other stories I have. I have a lot, but I haven't really tapped in. Because I've lived my whole life like this. But I am so living a different life now that it's actually sometimes hard for me to like dig back into it. Same with School for Troubled Girls. So like all the time, random memories will come to me and I'll write them down immediately because I'll forget. And there's just so many things that happen that it's hard to even retain it, especially since it was like a decade ago. Okay, I remember a story. So there was this guy named Paul. He was Pastor Paul. And he was always coming around our house when we were little. And Paul was absolutely rude and horrible. He was a pastor, a missionary, and he stayed in our home when we were little kids for free with my parents. And my mom essentially had to wait on them. Because in the church, like my mom, like I talk about my mom sometimes, but my mom is a survivor of a lot of things. A lot of abuse, a lot of mistreatment. And she had the worst of it. Like she was having to like wait on this man and his whole family, house them for free. And then one day he was babysitting us because our parents were out at some missions thing. They did like a lot of missionary work and stuff when we were little kids. And they left us with fucking asshole Paul. He was always so mean. So it was so funny because he went out on the balcony and my sister Sarah turned the lock. And he was locked out. And I remember it, but like, I don't remember lots of it, but I just remember this image of him outside on the porch. And none of us girls would let him in. All of us 4 girls, we were really little. I must have been like, under 6. Wouldn't let him into the house. He was such a prick. And then one day my mom made dinner and set everything down, and he said, "Where's the bread? Where's the bread?" Like, are you a child? And because he was like super religious, he always said that, like, I guess like the bread thing was because like Jesus broke bread. And so like it was mandatory for like my mom to provide bread at the meal. Super weird. Like, you're a guest in somebody's home and you say, "Where's the bread?" I would never. First of all, I would never stay in somebody's house for free for longer than 7 days. These settle down. Just give them a minute. It's always funny when they first come down because they're real wild, but they settle down and they become actually less bangy. So just give it a second, girls and boys. I should say girls and boy because there's like only a boy in here at a time. But I will say the other day when I said that like my stats or whatever, and I said there's not a lot of guys here, a lot of guys came forward. So I see you. Thank you for being here with us. We love you. And obviously we love the girls too, but I feel like I always address the girls. These bangs, oh my god, I don't know what to do. My eyeshadow was way more blended yesterday because I did it correctly yesterday, and today I don't know. I don't know who I am, where I'm going, how to blend my eyeshadow. I don't know. But yesterday I did use this palette. These two, contour and bronzer, not so great. But this highlight was really good. So maybe I'll just use this like as a blush, and then I'll put the highlight on top of it. I mean, it's a bronzer, but like it's a little shimmery, and shimmery bronzers, like unless the shimmer is like really, really, really like just a kiss of it, I just don't really get why it's in the bronzer. Like I'm putting this on my forehead, and because there's shimmer in it, like it makes my forehead look textured. I just don't really get the shimmer and the bronzer thing, but let's use this. I'm not going to do blush really. I would just want to be like a glowy girl, and also like red eyeshadow and green on the bottom. I look like a Christmas tree. Like this is enough. It's enough color. I don't need to be super blushed. I guess that's pretty much it for the story time because the makeup is almost done. And I can't think of any more missionary stories. My parents were like legit missionaries, and they started all that like before their brains had developed. And let me give you some background. When they got married, my mom was 19 and my dad was like, sorry, this hair is distracting me. My mom was 19 and my dad was like 20, 21. So a lot of their mistakes when they were younger, I chalk up to them being just like way too young to do these adult things like be married. Like, I'm 29. My boyfriend's 7 years older than me. I can't even say his age. He'll get mad. He'll be like, "Baby, call me old." I always call him old. But he's old to me. We're not ready for marriage, and we're like, I'm a decade older than my mom was when she was married, and then she started popping out kids straight away. So I just like can't relate to that. This is Beeper in ColourPop. If I lose the sound to this video, I will not recover emotionally. Yeah, they even also moved to Costa Rica to work on a missions thing. This is KKW. It's one of my favorite lipsticks, and I forgot how awesome it was until I used it like yesterday, and I was like, why aren't I wearing this every single day? The texture is good, the color is good, everything about it is good. There's always some mean old woman in my shorts saying, you look like you don't know how to apply your lipstick. That overline is so dated. It makes you look ugly. And I'm always just like, oh my God. I always screenshot it and save it for later. I have a mean old lady that I'm going to roast. That's going to be like the follower of the week. But I just haven't done it yet. So you'll be seeing that. Stay tuned. Also, since I'm wrapping it up, you guys, I'm telling you, please enter the giveaway. I can only do US because if I send it out of the country, you're going to have to pay duties on it. It's not going to be fun for anyone. So it's just going to be the US sort of situation. And you have to be following me on my Instagram because I'm going to reach out to whoever wins on the Instagram just to keep it organized. So please enter. I would really like a regular to win this. Like, I'm rooting for you guys, okay? You can get the whole full-size Pat Mcgrath palette, 2 dossier scents, 3 lashes, eye masks, cleansing oil, foot peeling shoes, Kaja makeup, ColourPop makeup. So just enter. Gosh. I love you guys. Thanks for listening to me ramble about Hellfire and Brimstone. I don't really know where I don't really know where I got this from, but thanks for staying tuned. Sorry about me. Lately, last week I was in shambles. This week I'm in shambles. I don't know when I won't be in shambles. Hopefully next week I'll have my life together and I'll do a really cohesive get ready with me. But if not, I just hope that you'll just still be here for me, and I really appreciate it. I love your comments. So sweet, so kind. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. This is the final look. I'm loving my bangs. Jeff cut my hair. If you're in LA, I can tag him below. This guy named Jeff, he's so nice. We met on a photo shoot. I was doing makeup, he was doing hair. Now we're friends. So if you want to see his work, I'll put his Instagram down below. I love you dearly, and I'll see you for the next one.